Hello, What Culture? My name is Simon Miller and welcome to Ups and Downs for Survivor Series 2018. Let's keep this intro as short as we can because you know Survivor Series, everybody competes in the matches, so many things go on. It's going to take us forever to go through it bit by bit. Actually, let's do the massage hands. So look, intro done, thrown over there. Let's up those downs. The kickoff show had that nuts tag team Survivor Series matchup, so we will start there, even though WWE clearly, as they proved on this night, couldn't give two craps about the pre-show, but we're going to get to that later on. Either way, get enough. It was cool that the audience had decided that Raw were going to be the heels here and SmackDown were going to be the faces, because that actually made it like this brand feud meant something. Also, during the match, Kalisto hurt his leg and Xavier Woods shouted out, "Sweep the leg!" And I really enjoyed that, because it was a Karate Kid reference. From here though, it was basically a contest in who WWE sees as the biggest jobbers. I mean, the Clones, they were gone within seconds. Then the B team followed and Sanity were gone quickly after that too. I mean, what are we even doing with Sanity at this point? They got brought up for NXT for literally no reason. The Ascension were pinned by the New Day, Lucha House Party got rid of Gallows and Anderson, the Usos sent the High Flyers packing, and that's when the action slowly started to pick up. I mean, Big E did that crazy spear thing he does through the ropes where it looks like someone's gonna die, and also, Chad Gable gave one of his big German suplexes to Big E, even though Big E is as big as a house. I tell you, man, I don't understand why we don't do more with Chad Gable. Just to prove that, when everybody was scrapping outside, do you know what Gable did? He climbed to the top rope, he grabbed an Uso, and he German suplexed him from the top rope into all the people that were scrapping on the floor. I mean, this was the pre-show. Chad and Bobby were eventually eliminated by the New Day, who then surprisingly also got kicked out of there by the Revival, which brought it down to two teams. It was the Usos going against Dash and Dawson, and you know what happened. The Revival won. Of course they didn't. The Usos picked up the victory. And you know what? This was a pretty decent match. When all was said and done, it's just a shame that no importance was shone upon it, both before it happened and after. And again, don't worry, just wait. We're gonna talk about it. If you were watching the kickoff too, you found out everything that was gonna happen in the Women's Survivor Series matchup. I'm really sorry. That's a down. For one, Mandy Rose was just announced as the replacement for Charlotte, so that was a little bit anticlimactic. And over on Team Raw, it turned out that Natalya and Ruby Riott had a big scrap, so now there were two places available. And given there's only two other people on the Raw roster, that's right, Bayley and Sasha Banks are going to take their place, so good thing I bought into that story a few days ago. We then started the show proper with this match, and I don't know, man, it wasn't bad, and there was some entertaining things to take away from it, but I just think overall, it did more harm than good. No one's around, down. The problem is that we just took even more wrestlers and we buried them. Naomi, for example, who was meant to be the captain of Team SmackDown, she was out within seconds after getting super kicked by Tamina. Carmella then rolled up Tamina. Mandy Rose stole the pin from Sonya Deville after she had taken out Mickie James. Bayley to Bayley, Carmella to get her out of there, and then Sasha Banks focused on Mandy Rose. She was out too. There was some double count-out nonsense that got rid of Bayley and Deville, and that's when the match shifted gears because we focused all our attention onto Nia Jax. Now, she was getting booed, but I don't think it was the good kind of heat where it's like, "Oh, Nia, you nasty piece of work, I hope you lose," and more, "You asshole, you took out our hero and savior, Becky Lynch." But yeah, she turned on her team by pushing Sasha Banks off the ropes. That allowed Asuka to tap her out. Then Nia Jax just got in there, and she beat up the Empress of Tomorrow like she was nothing. 3 leg drops, a Samoan drop, 1, 2, 3. Jax wins it for everybody around the world. Woohoo, what we gonna do? So much for backstage heat as well. It more looks like WWE thinks they've struck gold with this, and they're gonna go all the way with it. Had a quick backstage segment after this as well, where Stephanie McMahon told Baron Corbin, look, if Raw goes undefeated this evening, you can be the permanent general manager of the show. Already wasn't true, but as we're going to find out later on, nobody cares about the pre-show. Nakamura against Seth Rollins now, and look, it was a great match and a showcase of both these people's talents. They're awesome, so that is going to get an up, but in terms of the finish, sorry, I can't handle it anymore, it's getting a down. As we know, the US champ needed a win here to relight a fire under his ass, and also Seth Rollins had an out. WWE could have booked it so Dean Ambrose came to the ring, beat up Seth Rollins, referee doesn't see, Shinsuke wins, everybody's happy. That's not what happened. Ambrose didn't even turn up, Rollins just won clean as a whistle after the curb stomp. That was not a whistle, that was more like, I don't even know, like aliens were coming down. And that was the other issue here as well. This should have felt like a momentous clash, and it just didn't. It could have been on a Monday night, it could have been on a Tuesday night, and when all was said and done, well done, Seth. You continue rolling on into the night, and I don't know what Nakamura does at this stage. Maybe he goes back to Japan. Another down for the backstage argument between Team Raw 2. I think this was meant to be them trying to G each other up, but instead, they just came across like a bunch of children having a massive argument. R-Truth was there as well, and that does get funny in around about 5 minutes time, and Braun was basically yelling at everybody here, and he was so mad, he threw Lio Rush into Bobby Lashley. It's yet more back and forth when we start looking at the tag team match, but I can't keep giving ups and downs for every single thing because that would break the whole system. So the AOP versus the Bar is going to get an up. This is mainly for the result though, because thankfully the authors have paid one. If they hadn't, I probably would have just exploded with rage. But that doesn't mean we could get through this without any nonsense, because at one point, the Big Show was choking Drake Maverick, and he weed his pants. What was that, and who was this for? And again, like I always say, imagine you'd invited a friend round for the first time ever to join you in watching a wrestling pay-per-view, and then a giant chokes a smaller man to the point he just lets water come out of his dong. I mean, how the hell are you going to explain that to anybody? There was also some hoo-ha with a certain someone in the crowd during this, but I'm not going to talk about it, and here's why. One, you can head on over to WhatCulture.com and you can read all about it there, and two, this was clearly done for attention, and you know how you stop that becoming a thing? You don't give it attention. Moving on. A massive up for the Smackdown team getting ready for their match though, because yes, tying into the R-Truth stuff from earlier, he was there and he was begging Shane McMahon to put him on the brand, to which Shane McMahon replied, "Truth, you're already on SmackDown." It was super dumb. I needed some super dumb at that point, hence why it gets the up. And another up from Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy. This was just fabulous. They're top athletes, they are so good at what they do, and they turned a crowd who really couldn't give two hoots at the start of it to the point they were all chanting 205 by the end. We even saw a Spanish fly off the announce table onto the floor. These men giving you blood. Murphy retained after Murphy's Law, and I really hope all of this comes together to shine a brighter light on 205 Live, because more people should be watching that program. Right now, as I say these words, it's actually quite good. Some quick notes as well. There was a Daniel Bryan promo where he refused to answer any questions, and it was confirmed with a promo package that Lars Sullivan is coming up to the main roster. And when was the last time we saw videos for anyone being called up from NXT? That means WWE about to push Lars Sullivan to the moon. Not Ember Moon, the actual moon. On to the men's Survivor Series match now, and I was instantly pissed off because Drew McIntyre eliminated Samoa Joe again within seconds. What are you trying to do to me, WWE? Why do you hate me down? Other than that, this was very good, with the storyline being Team Raw just couldn't get on the same page. At the start, Drew McIntyre kept tagging himself in. That pissed off Braun Strowman, and Team SmackDown took advantage of all of that by pinning Strowman to a table before Shane McMahon hit the big elbow drop from the top rope. It worked. He was out for ages. When things calmed down, the dissension within the Team Raw ranks continued, including Finn Balor kicking Drew in the head because, again, Drew wouldn't tag him in. However, that led to Balor versus Rey Mysterio. They only went at it for about 2 minutes, but instantly I was like, I want to see that feud. The chemistry they had here was awesome before Rey Mysterio beat Finn Balor with the splash. Then, hilariously, Shane McMahon was back to his feet. He gave Dolph Ziggler the coast to coast, and he beat him again. And you want to know why? Because he's the best in the world. B-I-T-W. We then hit a bizarre roadblock because Braun was back on his feet and he just took out all of Team SmackDown in around about 1.5 minutes. He power slammed Jeff Hardy, he power slammed Rey Mysterio, he power slammed The Miz, and then he power slammed Shane McMahon. That was that. It was all wrapped up. Team Raw wins. If you are keeping track, that meant 3 men from Raw were considered the last men standing. That was the monster among men, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. Then, of course, Baron Corbin got involved. He beat up Braun for a while, but he knew otherwise. He was going to get his ass whipped. And more interestingly, Baron Corbin left with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Now, I don't think there's anything there, but it made me go, and stroke my beard. The Rollins stuff got even worse after this because during a backstage interview, he was told at TLC he's just going to fight Dean Ambrose. No time for an angle on the show. You're just going to fight him for the IC Championship in December. Deal with it. Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey followed, and make no mistake about it, I thought this was absolutely fantastic. It was so smartly thought out, and it was so well booked. getting up. The real joy was that it didn't really feel like a wrestling match, but actually did feel like a real fight. I mean, the first 5 minutes was just two athletic people flying around the ring as they tried to get the other one to tap out. It was so smooth, again, like my head. And that is the main reason you should go and watch this if you're not planning to, because it feels like a legit scrap, especially because at one point, Charlotte smashed Ronda in the face, she started to bleed, and looked like an absolute warrior. As for the former UFC champion as well, I think if you weren't sold before this, you've absolutely got to be sold now. She's only been doing this a few months, and she's absolutely brilliant, especially when she was walking around the ring trying to G up the crowd. Charlotte speared her, won the impact, made me go, oh, that was crazy. And then Ronda's near fall kick out, it got me, I thought it was over. That's 2 thumbs up. The main idea here, as I'm sure you can work out, was the figure 8 versus the armbar, but make no mistake again, these two held nothing back. Felt like they actually wanted to kill each other, especially because of Charlotte's crazy faces. She was like, oh, I'm nuts now, I can't handle it, the position I'm in, I'm gonna blow up and explode. It continued to build wonderfully, including some very interesting reactions from the fans. At one point they chanted for Becky Lynch, and soon they were chanting for Charlotte, even though we were in California, we're in the Staples Center, which is supposed to be like Rousey's patch. Then we got to the finish. I just want to underline how much I was enjoying this, to the point they could have gone longer and I would have been cool with it. But as Ronda Rousey chased Charlotte around the ringside area, Charlotte found a kendo stick, smashed Ronda in the face. That meant Flair got disqualified and made me go, what? This beatdown lasted for a good few minutes too. I mean, there was more kendo stick shots, a chair got involved, and eventually Charlotte put Ronda Rousey's neck in the chair and then she stamped on it. If that was real life, that woman be dead. Flair was also attacking referees, and this was meant to be a heel turn where it didn't work, because you know what the fans were doing, as they always do? Cheering until they were blue, SmackDown, in the face. The commentary team were trying to sell it as if Charlotte felt she couldn't win, so resorted to these tactics, which makes all of this hard, because don't get me wrong, it was a very good post-match angle, and the fans absolutely lapped it up. And there was just like an air of tension in the air. That's what happens if you have an air of tension, it's got to be in the air, otherwise where's it going to be? But when all is said and done and I sat down and thought about it, I really would have preferred a winner here to kind of tie in to that reality feel. So in that sense, yeah, that's a down. And that's not me saying it was bad, and as a piece of entertaining, it was awesome. I just think we could have done more if somebody had come out the winner and somebody had come out the loser. But it has led me to believe that at WrestleMania 35 we're getting Charlotte versus Ronda versus Becky. And again, that's fine. Maybe we could have found a different path to walk down. Side note too, the crowd chanting for Becky Lynch as a broken Ronda walked to the back. I smell a heel turn. Main event time now, and this was everything I hoped it was going to be and more. However, a quick note for the announce team, you don't have to oversell everything to the point you allow me to figure out what match I'm about to see before I've even seen it. Down. All they did as Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar made their entrances was stress that Daniel Bryan is a really small guy, Brock Lesnar is a really big guy, so what you're probably going to see in a few seconds is the small man being beaten up by the big man. And while we got that for a while, I knew straight away, as I was sat there on my sofa that you can't see, I know what's going to happen, so you ruined it for me, Michael Cole and friends. How dare you? However, everything else was just perfect. There was a little flutter of offense from Bryan, he threw in some leg kicks, and after he'd done a little tour on the outside of the ring, he got back in the squared circle, and you know what he did? He did Brock Lesnar's little jig, and it made me say, I like heel Daniel Bryan straight away. That did just piss off the beast though, and we then transitioned into your usual Brock Lesnar match. He threw Daniel Bryan around like he was just a piece of cheese, and because I'm Daniel Bryan's mum and I'm terrified about his head and his brain, sat there absolutely terrified, because I tell you man, he got landed on his head a few times. Brock basically treated him like he was a puppet as well. He picked him up and he threw him around like he weighed nothing. Think the John Cena SummerSlam 2014 match and you ain't far off, but then it changed. In what was just an amazing shift in proceedings, a wild F5 took out the referee, and that's when Bryan pounced. He nailed Brock Lesnar right in his penis, gave him the running knee, and the near fall was so close, you believed it, I believed it, everybody believed it. Maybe Daniel Bryan is actually going to win. He didn't, but he got us. Bryan even locked in a couple of submissions that did make you think just a little bit that Lesnar may have tapped out, but of course that didn't happen. After out of nowhere F5, Brock Lesnar did walk away as the victor. Well, I say walk away, he limped away because Daniel Bryan got so much offense in here and Brock Lesnar sold so well for him, he had to do it. Otherwise it would have made no sense. He was like this, going to the back, and I was like, I don't care that Daniel Bryan lost, because to me, everybody won. The circumvention of expectation, which by the way is also the name of my first mixtape, was just done so well. We all thought we were going to get the Brock Lesnar match that we hate, then halfway through it switched gears, and it won everybody over. It was absolutely excellent and up as we've already said, but it was so good, feels like it should be golden. That's right, golden up. A quick footnote as well, just to underline how good Brock's selling was in this match. When he wants to go, the man, well, you can see why he's got to where he's got. He's talented. But don't worry, folks. I know some of you are going to be out there going, I can't believe he didn't mention the screen. I can't believe he didn't mention the screen. We're going to mention the screen right now. I left it for last because unlike a WrestleMania where you're meant to be sent home happy, I'm going to send you down with a brown down on your face because, yeah, brown down. The scoreboard that was shown to us as Survivor Series came to an end did indeed say that, oh, well done, Baron Corbin. You got your clean sweep because it was Raw 6 and it was SmackDown 0. But it wasn't Raw 6, SmackDown 0 was it WWE because Team SmackDown had won their match on the pre-show. Now, fair play to Corey Graves. He tried to make this point, but from a visual perspective, if you hadn't tuned into that, it may as well not have existed. So there's nothing, you can't argue it now. It's official, the pre-show. A waste of our time. Otherwise though, yeah, Survivor Series was actually really entertaining. I had a good time, I enjoyed myself. I like having fun. Now don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about Survivor Series 2018. Like, share and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture, and read yourself some articles. And follow WhatCulture on Twitter. Pow! At WhatCulture WWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you very much for watching. And we're just starting the week, so we got ups and downs for Raw tomorrow. We got ups and downs for SmackDown on Wednesday. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you join me, so you always know what's going on in the WWE world. See you soon.